Hey, what's up? It's your actor pal, Kyle Davis. Can you make a video saying how you got into acting, your first few gigs, hardships? That's a lot of fucking questions, but you know what? I can answer it for you. So around 1996-ish, I was living in Arizona at the time, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to join the Army. Unfortunately, I got beat up and had my retina detached and blinded in my left eye. That kind of changed my whole trajectory of my life. Had no idea what the hell I was going to do. My roommate at the time was like, you know what, dude? We should fucking buy a van, move to Key West, Florida, and become jet ski instructors. He's like, I did it for one summer, and it was so awesome. And I was like, that sounds fucking badass, dude. Let's do that. Cut to a few weeks later, my roommate decided to bail out and move back to Michigan. And my cousin, Kevin, he was like, you know what, dude? I'm moving to Hollywood, try to become an actor. Just move down there with me. We'll become roommates. And I was like, that sounds awesome too. Let's try it out. Having no plans of what I was going to do. Prior to this, my friend who I was going to move to Key West, Florida with, his friend who was a photographer took some modeling pictures of me. Yeah, with this fucking ugly mug and a weird eye. Already wasn't going to work out, but I still had hope. Moved down there and remember went to like 20 open calls, gave him my portfolio with these awful pictures in there. And every one of them passed, obviously. So I was having some pictures taken, and the photographer was like, hey man, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but he's like, if you were a model, like a lot of these pictures would have come back like pretty good. He's like, there's like maybe one or two. He's like, have you ever thought about maybe trying some acting or something like that? Because I don't know if modeling is going to be your jam. And I was like, no, man, I never thought about that. Cut to, I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll give it a shot. I had like 300 headshots printed, sent out hundreds of submissions to agencies all around town, and I got one call back from this agency. They were called the Tori Christopher Group. They were like this Gen X type of agency where they represented skateboarders and BMX riders. And what I forgot to mention was I lied on my resume and said I could still skateboard because prior to that I had torn my ACL like a month right after I moved to Los Angeles. So I really couldn't even skate. But I lied, I met with him, and he signed me, and I was like, sweet, I got a fucking agent, I'm gonna start working like crazy, like gangbusters. Months and months went by. 0 auditions. I had no idea what was going on. I called up the dude, and I was like, hey man, what the fuck, man? This is your client, Kyle. Why am I not going on any auditions? He was like, I don't think your pictures are working. You should probably change it up a little bit. So I bleached my hair, spiked it up. That was kind of the look back then in the early 2000s. So cut to, I had been on tons of auditions, was not booking anything, but I was working at the agency and I was slowly kind of seeing what pictures work. I was meeting casting directors, I was interning at places, and slowly but surely something kind of clicked in my head and I started getting better at auditioning, started getting a little bit better at improvising and things like that. And next thing you know, I started booking jobs. If I would have never worked at these agencies and interned at casting offices, I would have never been a successful actor. I probably would have quit and gave up. But learning the whole behind the scenes things, that's why any advice I always give to actors or anybody who wants to get in the business, always go and intern at these places. Because you get to meet so many people and you get to see how the inner workings are of the whole entire business. My very first thing I ever did was that show back in the day called The Dating Game with Chuck Woolery. And it was like an open casting call thing. A bunch of us went there. I randomly got picked to be one of the bachelors on that thing. And yeah, that was my first gig, even though I didn't get paid for it. After that, I booked a Jack in the Box commercial. And then the first TV show I did was a TV show called Felicity. Hardships? Holy shit. So many hardships. It's impossible to go into it. I don't recommend anybody going into acting, honestly, especially now with the whole AI thing taking over. But it is such a hard business filled with constant rejection, feeling depressed all the time. And it's a fucking brutal business. I'm one of the lucky ones and I'm fucking broke. So it's crazy because most people, they come out here, they try and try for years and years. They end up giving up and moving back home or just becoming waiters or doing something else. And it's just a brutal business. I don't recommend it. Anywho, that's kind of the story in a nutshell. Hope that answered your questions. Love ya.